My opponent talked about how the legalization of marijuana would stop the drug cartels and help prevent them from committing crime. The legalization of marijuana will not stop the drug cartels. According to the New York Times, the legalization of marijuana won't disrupt the Mexican drug cartel. As he said, marijuana makes up 60% of the cartel's profits. This is not a small amount, but there's another 40% that includes methamphetamine, cocaine, brown powder, black tar heroin. The cartels would make plenty of profits from the sales of these drugs. Also, the cartels would also enter the legal market for the sale of marijuana, similar to organized crime groups after the repeal of prohibition. These drug cartels will not be affected by the legalization of marijuana, and they will always find new ways to make money. Also, the drug cartels can take the marijuana business to other states outside of California. Talk about the negative things about marijuana. The legalization of marijuana will not prevent prisons from having criminals, like small-time criminals, that were put in prison for marijuana. According to California Department of Alcohol and Drug Program, if marijuana was legalized, unlawfully selling marijuana to minors, providing marijuana to minors, or using minors to transfer marijuana is punishable for 3, 5, or 7 years in prison. Any person over 21 who provides marijuana to a person between 18 and 20 shall be punished in county jail for a period of 6 months. Marijuana use leads to addiction. Contrary to popular belief, marijuana can lead to addiction. According to drugabuse.gov, it's estimated that 1 in 6 users who start using marijuana in their teens will become dependent. The same source had a study of over 300 fraternal and identical twin pairs and found that the twin who had used marijuana before age 17 had a higher rate of other drug use and drug problems later on compared to the twin who didn't use before age 17. According to the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, marijuana accounted for the estimated 7 million Americans dependent on or abusing illicit drugs. In 2008, approximately 15 million used marijuana. Approximately 15% of people entered in drug treatment programs were there for marijuana use. Quitting from a marijuana addiction can also show withdrawal syndrome, similar to nicotine withdrawal, and can make it tough to quit. This marijuana addiction is often treated in facilities. According to the NIDA, treatment data in 2008 indicate that marijuana accounted for 322,000 of the admissions to treatment facilities in the United States, second only to opiates and illicit substances. Marijuana is harmful to human health. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, numbers of studies show an association between frequent use of marijuana and higher rates of anxiety, depression, and schizophrenia. Chronic marijuana use may also risk mental illness, including addiction. High doses of marijuana can expose an acute psychotic reaction in some people. Marijuana is also harmful to physical health. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, marijuana increases the heart rate by 20 to 100% shortly after smoking, lasting up to 3 hours. It was estimated that marijuana users had a 4.8-fold increase in risk of heart attack the first hour after smoking. This may be due to the increased heart rate and the heart rhythms being affected by marijuana, which causes palpitations and arrhythmia. Marijuana use can negatively affect people's learning ability. According to drugabuse.gov, marijuana-exposed children are more likely to show gaps in problem-solving skills, memory, and ability to remain attentive. When comparing groups from similar education and income backgrounds. One group of people who tried cannabis no more than 50 times in their life, and daily heavy users. The heavy cannabis user had a significantly smaller probability of completing college. Not surprisingly, high school students who smoke marijuana tend to get lower grade and are more likely to drop out. Marijuana negatively affects driving and causes accidents. According to the University of Notre Dame, THC disrupts coordination and balance by binding to receptors in the cerebellum and basal ganglia, parts of the brain that regulate balance, posture, coordination of movement, and reaction to time. A driver's thought process and reflexes are slowed, making it difficult to respond to sudden, unexpected events. The driver's ability to stay in the lane through curves, brake quickly, maintain speed, and keep distance between cars is effective. These studies also show that 6% to 11% of fatal accident victims tested positive for THC. 15% of injured trauma patients driving a car or motorcycle were seen to have been using marijuana. Lastly, the general public does not accept legalization of marijuana. Prop 19 was on the ballots in California in the 2010 election. According to Ballotpedia.org, the results of the initiative were 53.5% against the proposition and 46.5% for it. This shows that the general public is not in favor of making marijuana legal.